Yeah. Right then, quick diagnostic. Lithium based battery. It's off a Btwin folding bike. Check the spec, it's supposed to be 36 volts. The customer did state some issues, cells not charged, completely dead, etc. I didn't look too much into it, otherwise I'm going to get confirmation biased and I'm going to go looking for a specific problem rather than looking at the whole thing, which is not good. I'm going to diagnose the battery as a whole. So we've left it sealed until it's arrived. Shipping looked good, so there's no panic there. We'll open it up and we'll find out what's inside. Obviously, a bit of care needed, although it's well packed, I can tell that. I think I recognize the battery already, so that's a good start. Let's have a look. It's in there. Right, pack it out the way. We have a keep the customer as address out of this. Name is Harry. 24 volts, 7.8 amp hours. Charging port looks fine. Let's give it a quick rough overview a second before we go any further. Someone's already been inside it. Yeah. Okay, that's not an issue. There's the charge, there's the discharge. Let's just check our ports a second. So we do have, well, no, we have nothing. Just over half a volt. Okay, let's open this one up and see what's inside. So it's 24 volts, so it's either going to be, it depends if it's lithium ion or lithium ion phosphate based. It's either going to be 7 in series or up to 9. It's an odd number for lithium ion phosphate. I can't quite remember the numbers. Do too many of them, unfortunately. Let me just find the correct bit, which is never easy. I think that'll do. We'll get into this. I prefer to do it live on camera, especially the ones that are shipped in. If the customer turns up at the door, I prefer to do it in front of them, a diagnostic. Simple reason is most of these batteries comes from a faraway country, and what they list them as sometimes is not what's inside them, especially when you see the cheap 48 volt batteries listed with Samsung 35E cells and they're coming in at under 199. Obviously alarm bells start ringing then, considering Samsung cells for that model around about £4 to £7, depending on the quantity you get. So yeah, short story, prefer to do the posting ones on camera, posted on YouTube for the customer to view. I would usually share them on the normal channel, it's just I don't think it's wise people open up their batteries, especially the high powered 62, 72 volt ones. They're only going to lead to trouble. Can I get a screw tray? It's got a USB charging port. That shouldn't be any issue. Most of the time they get water damage on batteries that are external. This one slides inside the fold of the frame, so it is pretty well protected. Memory serves me right. Alright, top we got a fuse. Fuse looks intact. We'll check it with the multimeter shortly. Yeah, BMS is unplugged. So someone has been inside, yeah? Okay. And disconnect the charge side of things. And discharge. Discharge is fitted with a 20 amp fuse. Visually I can see it's not a fuse, but just as a sanity check, it's best to check the fuse. Just so I know where I'm going. Plus sometimes you overlook the easiest of things. So we got continuity and the fuse is fine. So we'll take that out of the equation in a second. Charge port. No damage, nice and clean, nothing to see in there. No signs of corrosion. None of that green dusty stuff that happens when that gets corroded. Nope, that's fine. So we'll take that out of the equation. And I think this battery should slide out here pretty simple, considering it's already been opened once. Sometimes they mastic them in and it makes it an absolute nightmare to remove. Bottom cap, USB controller board, nothing fancy. This one was masticed in originally. It's been removed, so that makes removing this a lot easier. It's pretty brave to remove the mastic from here, I'll be honest. Because if the BMS wires are running down that side of the battery and you come in with a sharp tool there, you're going to bridge it, and that causes more damage than it's worth. So let's see if this slides out nice and easy. I've got a feeling it will. Yeah, as you can see, wire sliding on the inside of the case. The only reason I say is if I do post this to YouTube, a few advisories. Now we're going to remove this carefully. I don't like these batteries because this is a tight fit on an aluminium case with no protection over the BMS balance wires. It's just not good practice, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's awful. Okay, case, obviously nothing to look at or diagnose there. Aluminium's aluminium. Unless we're going into the quality of the aluminium. So, oh, my bad. Let me lower the chair a second. Let's just take a few readings so we know where we're going. Take a reading of the overall pack from the first plus to the last minus. That way we can gauge if there's anything in the pack without the BMS being involved in any readings. We have 3.5 volts overall. That's through all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. So out of all 7 cells, we're only generating 3 and a bit volts. So already I know the cells are damaged. Let's just see what's going on up here. When it's connected. Well, good news is it's not a smart BMS, so this can be swapped out with any 999 BMS, I believe. Although the USB port would need looking at, so just in case that's an option. Is there any other damage or anything being cut? No, but here's another advisory I see on every battery. And when they seal these up in their fiberglass shells or inside these cases and just leave these protruding, often when you pull or just move them, the rubber splits without any interference. It's naughty when the negative and the minus split and they touch together. That's not good. There's a break in the cable there. 1, 2 thermal couplers, nothing to look at. Let's check the cells. What we got? LGG BM26. These are, I think, let's check the data sheet though. Let me just check each row. First row is completely gone. Second row, nothing. Third row, nothing. Fourth, nothing. Fifth, 0.2, almost 0.3 volts. 6, 0.3. Seventh is always the last one that's saved. I'll explain why in a minute. That row is 3 volts. So the only 3 cells in parallel that are any good are the ones connected to the positive up here. Question is why they all drain down. There's 2 reasons. One is the age of the battery. 12 to 24 months on cheap cells, the lifespan starts to drop. 36 months on any battery, especially high-powered ones, you're touching time to replace. But while we're here, let's see why it originally went. Now it looks to me as if they've shorted. Let me just check inside the aluminium frame a second. No score marks. I have seen these short when they're left unprotected. This had a cover on it, by the looks of it. So them sides were protected, so it wouldn't have shorted against the frame. So the reason these have gone is either it hasn't been charged for a long time and they've just drained down, as in the battery well maintained. 1-2 months on cheap cells without charging them, they will drop. What model are these though? They say LG, but they're not. Let me just check the data sheet on these. It's supposed to be LG GBMs. These are lithium ion phosphates, I think, instead of lithium ion. 26.1 865. Right, first review, top of the page. Let's not look at that. Right, the reviews are not good. I'll send a link over to the customer regarding the reviews of these cells. I'll be honest, just typing them into Google, the model number, it comes up as top listing might be the worst 18650 cell ever. Basically, the cell quality is not there. These are genuine LGs though, which I'm surprised at. But either way, the 26 milliamp hours a piece. So 26. This was never what it states on the case either. Let me just triple check myself. Do the math quickly. 2 points times 3 in a row. No, it was what they said. So it is 7.8 amp hours. LG based cells. 2.6 amp hours a piece. 3 in parallel. So yeah, it makes 7.8 amp hours. 7 in a row. Gives you your 24 volts. Right, in short, what's wrong with this? Apart from the 3 rows here, all of these. Now, I could trickle force charge these up to 3 volts each, so they match this. Then the BMS we could test, and it'd probably kick in as perfectly fine, to be honest. It looks like no damage to that. It just won't charge anything right now until it sees at least all the cells at the same level. In short, as a longer explanation. So what I'm going to suggest to the customer is this battery needs replacing, unfortunately. Cost wise, it's not going to be astronomical, in all fairness. It's a small battery. We can use the original housing, remove these cells, etc. Yeah, up to the customer though. Diagnosis is basically the cells have completely shorted down to almost 0 volts, either from inactivity of being charged and being left in storage for too long, 1, 2, 3 months. And that's pretty much the only cause for this, or just this age in general. Apart from that, we'll recommend the 2 options to the customer, either a full replacement. And that's about it. Keep this video short. On to the next one.